The applause faded as Amari Lewis stepped onto the stage under the studio lights. She stood tall, 17, medium brown skin, natural curls pulled into a bun, wearing a plain white blouse and black skirt. In her hand, a carefully sealed envelope with Harvard's crest shimmered under the spotlight. MC Jacqueline Reeves took the envelope with 2 fingers, like it was contaminated. She smiled, but it wasn't kind. "Let's see what the Ivy League thinks of potential," she said, turning to the live camera. Amari watched as Reeves tore open the envelope, not gently, but with a jerk. She scanned the letter inside, then scoffed. "Harvard? This can't be real. Not for someone like her." Then, without warning, she tossed the letter onto the studio floor, letting it flutter down like trash. Gasps rippled through the audience. Amari froze. Her hand hung in the air. Her face didn't move, but her eyes followed the letter all the way to the ground. Reeves turned back to the audience. "Let's continue with someone more expected." But in the back of the room, a woman in a navy blazer quietly reached for her phone, and pressed record. Backstage, Amari sat in silence, the Harvard letter now folded into quarters and clutched tightly in her hand. No one approached her. Not the producers. Not the crew. The applause for the next student barely reached her ears. But in another part of the building, a phone buzzed. It belonged to Dr. Meredith Shaw, Harvard's Associate Dean of Admissions, who had flown in quietly to observe the taping. Her assistant had just sent her the live stream replay, with the moment Amari's letter hit the ground. Dr. Shaw's heels clicked with purpose as she moved toward the stage. Meanwhile, in Amari's mind, another memory surfaced, her mother staying up late ironing Amari's one nice shirt, whispering, "Don't let them tell you where you belong. Let your work do that." Back on stage, Reeves smiled like nothing happened. "Next student, please." She turned to the producer's booth. Cut to commercial in 5. Before she could finish, the side door opened, and Dr. Shaw stepped directly onto the stage, calm and deliberate. "I believe someone dropped my letter," she said, picking up the folded page from the floor. The room froze. Dr. Shaw held up the letter with 2 fingers, her voice crisp and unwavering. "This document contains my personal recommendation and signature," she said. "It was sent by Harvard University. And it belongs to Miss Amari Lewis." All eyes turned to Amari, who had quietly stepped back onto the stage. Jacqueline Reeves looked like she had been slapped without being touched. She opened her mouth, but said nothing. Amari didn't speak either. She simply took the letter from Dr. Shaw, turned to face the audience, and unfolded it slowly. Then, in a calm, level tone, she said, "It wasn't just a letter. It was what you never saw in me." The silence that followed was heavier than any applause. Reeves sat down. Amari stepped off the stage, not triumphant, not angry, just seen. And somewhere in that stillness, someone finally clapped. Amari Lewis didn't raise her voice, didn't retaliate, didn't beg to be believed. She simply let the truth speak through presence, and one torn letter that meant more than prestige. Her silence held power, and her grace exposed every prejudice without a single insult. If you've ever had your worth questioned because of where you come from or what you carry, remember Amari. Share her story, let it echo. Subscribe if you believe quiet dignity can be louder than public humiliation. Because sometimes, justice begins the moment someone finally gets seen.